What's up, everybody out there? Welcome back to yet another addicted fishing tutorial. My name is Knigge, and today we're talking about 2 easy ways to make your own bait to go out and catch trout and steelhead anywhere in the world. So if you guys want to learn more about how to do this cool little procedure, stay tuned. It's coming at you right now. It's a monster! Oh, there he goes, there he goes. He's going under the boat. You can't see the wiggler, guys. Look at that.
Oh my God, look at that Brad's wiggler.
Nice.
Holy cow, dude.
We're gonna have a few eggs after this.
These are all nice hens.
Woo.
Yeah, we'll have to do some egg curing tutorials today at the house.
I think so. So what we have in front of us here is some beautiful, beautiful coho salmon skeins of eggs. We went out yesterday, we were lucky enough to get this fish. It was a female. We processed that fish, we got it bled by cutting the gills. If you guys want to learn more just about how to process your fish in any way, shape, or form, be sure to go down and check out the YouTube channel and the links. We have all kinds of tutorials just like this one. This bait will work good for any kind of steelhead, summer steelhead, winter steelhead, spring steelhead, or any kind of trout species, whether it be wild trout that you're fishing for in some big lake and or a stalker trout in your local pond down the street from your house. So what I'm gonna do first when I get this egg is I'm gonna separate some of that membrane and open up that skein of eggs. A lot of people will use a knife or scissors to do this, but I like to use my hands. Just go very gentle, pushing right up on the back side of this, the main stem of that skein on those eggs, pushing up and pulling down on the edges just like so, just to open that thing up to make sure I can get that powder and that cure to all these berries. Just like that. Open it right up. And I'm gonna do the same thing with my other skein here. And I'm gonna cure these in 2 different styles. One of them is gonna be a little bit hotter. And what I mean by hot is it's gonna have a little more salt, it's gonna have a little more flavor. And then the other one's just gonna be very natural. I'm gonna go with this natural pink and just a straight borax so that I keep the consistency of the color and the scent of that egg in a very, very natural state. So I'm gonna lay these 2 bad boys out just like this. And then I'm gonna do my hot cure first. So what I'm gonna do to make this one hot is I'm gonna put this in the pan here. I always like to have a little cookie pan or something to put these in so you don't make too big of a mess. But the things I'm gonna add first is a little bit of table salt. The table salt's gonna help pull a little bit of the moisture out of these eggs to make the consistency of them better and give them a little bit of a scent. The fish are gonna be able to smell that salt, they'll recognize it from the ocean. And the biggest part of why I'm putting that salt on, you can see I went very, very mild, almost like you're seasoning it to eat it. Just like that, I'm gonna flip it over. I'm gonna season the back side of the skein, and this is the important part. Getting the salt on that skein so that it gets nice and firm, has a nice tackiness to it, and it pulls out some of that moisture, allowing it to almost get like a leathery texture so that these things don't fall off your hook when you go to cast every single time. You want them to be nice and solid to hold under your bait loop. So, and then I have just some normal cane sugar, and I'm gonna add just about the same amount. Just a nice little sprinkle. Nice little sprinkle. And steelhead tend to like a little bit sweeter egg on end. Any kind of cane sugar or any kind of brown sugar works really good for this, just don't go too heavy on it. So, see we have that nice, just that nice little coating, just enough to kind of get each one of those berries. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our Fuse Steelhead blend. Now this stuff has quite a few little additives. This is one of their newer scents that they've come out with. It actually is a mixture of a lot of their different scents. So I'm gonna go pretty light on this. Again, I wanna keep that natural color. I don't wanna dye these things. And you can tell in that Steelhead blend, there's not a lot of dye. It's a light pink color, but mostly it's just those bite stimulants and those salts and those different preservatives that's gonna help your eggs get a good consistency. That's gonna make it a good steelhead egg. So I'm just gonna go a nice little salt and pepper. Just like that. Make sure to kind of dabble that around just like so. Make sure the scent is, or all that cure is getting into those eggs. And again, the amount you put on is very, very crucial. I don't mind maybe going over the top a little bit like on a salmon egg, but on a steelhead egg, I want to get just enough to be curing these eggs. So get that nice on that side, flip that over. Just like that, nice little covering of him. And there you have it. That's pretty much it. So that's what I would call a pretty hot steelhead egg. And then last but not least, I'm gonna take my Addicted Steelhead blend. We also do a Winter Chrome blend, but this has a different mixture of some more tasty little treats that they actually eat out in the ocean in there. So it's something for them to familiarize with and something to just give you that edge while you're out there on the water. You can find this anywhere on our website or at procure.com. I'm just gonna go a nice little drizzling on there, and I can add more of this the night before, the day before I go to use these eggs, but I'm just putting a nice little dabble across that, just enough to get that scent. And now we're ready. All I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna take my Ziploc bag, drop her in there, and then you're just gonna let magic happen. We're gonna put those eggs in. What I like to do a lot of the time is lay these things down, kind of get some of this air out of here, just roll it right up like a burrito, seal it down, and you're ready to go. So what I'll do now is I'll put this in the fridge, or I can leave it out if your garage is gonna be nice and cold, anywhere it's around 40 to 45 degrees. I'm gonna either put these in the fridge or put them in that cold area, and I'm gonna let them sit for at least 2 days. If you're desperate, you can fish them the next day. If you really wanna go out and catch yourself a fish, a trout or a steelhead, you can go and use them the next day. So I'm gonna take this, put that in the refrigerator, and then here's one that I actually have done about 2 days ago. So you can kind of see the difference in the consistency that's changed. You've got a lot different color. It's soaked up that cure, it's soaked up those salts and that sugar, and it comes out just a beautiful, beautiful chunk. You can see the consistency, that natural color that a lot of that skein is kept from not adding too much scent. And the smell, that sweet, salty smell is what you want to smell. You don't want them too musky, you don't want them too stinky and strong. You want them very natural. So what I might do here, the night before, I'll take my outer, after you've been about a day and a half or so, the night before I go fish, I'll take these things out, I'll grab some of the borax, which is just a very good preservative. Doesn't add really any more scent or anything to those eggs. It just helps firm up the consistency of that egg so that you can fish them longer on each bait. So I'm gonna take my borax, I'm gonna dump that stuff right on top of them like this. Maybe roll them over really quick. And then I'll let these sit overnight, chop them up into my little baits, and then hit the river. Now this cure is gonna be your little bit hotter cure again. So it's gonna have a little bit more of that saltiness, a little bit more of a scent trail in the water, and it's gonna help you get the attention of those fish, maybe in a dirty water situation or a situation where there's a lot of people around. So I'm gonna push those to the side, and I'm gonna get going to my very natural style of egg cure that I'm gonna do on this next one. So what I have here is a ProCure fluorescent pink, steely pink steelhead cure. Now this stuff is very, very natural. You'll see the difference in the color again from that fused cure. Even lighter color, just a lot of those preservatives, a little bit more of a natural scent, not so much about adding a lot of flavor to those eggs. They just want them to preserve them and get them fishable. So I'm gonna add just again a very light dusting of this stuff. Just like so. Ooh, that looks nice. And pat that in. Flip these guys over. Do the same thing again. There we go. And you can see all these little eggs that are falling off these skeins. In future tutorials, the next tutorial we're just about to make for you guys is gonna be how to make spawn sacks, which is a really cool trick to not lose any of these eggs while you're fishing them. So stay tuned for that, but stay tuned also because we're gonna get going on this. So next thing I'm gonna do is very, very simple. This is the nicest part of this cure for these very natural eggs is what I'm about to show you next. I'm gonna take just some old school borax. Now borax is just a preserving agent. All it does is it sucks the moisture out, it keeps the consistency of these things, and it preserves them, especially if they're frozen, for a long, long time. And you can see it's just that white powder. The only difference in between this borax and the other borax we use in our hotter cure is of course the color of it. So I'm gonna take my Ziploc bag again here. And you can use any kind of quart mason jar, anything like that, but for me, the quart mason jars break. I like to be able to just grab my little Ziploc baggie. I use just about that amount of eggs, that bottom end of it, every single time, and they work great and are very convenient. So what I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna take that borax, I'm gonna dump probably a whole cup into the bottom of that bag, right about there. I'm gonna take these eggs that I just cured. I'm actually gonna add just a little bit more. I'm gonna take these eggs, and since I got that little bit of cure on them, and I'm gonna take and cut them in about 4-inch chunks, just like so. And I'm gonna take them, I'm gonna just drop them right in the bag, right into that borax. And we're doing this also because it'll help break up that big mass of that skein of eggs and allow that borax to kind of soak into each piece to really preserve it for that good amount of time. You can go even smaller. You can actually cut them up into those little chunks that you're going to want to use while you're fishing, but I don't like to go much smaller than that because I'll use each one of those chunks just in case it's raining or in case the weather's bad and you don't want a big glob of eggs out in the weather or that all those little baits. I'll just chop them up just like that and put them in the bag. Add just about another cup of borax right on top of them. Roll it around nice and thoroughly in there. Break up any of those big chunks that you see in there because you don't want those to get too hot. And if you want, you can even throw a little bit more of that borax in there, but today I'm going to preserve it. I'm not going to use up all my resources here. I'm going to flip that over just like so. Get that bust on the bottom. And make sure that that borax has a nice thick layer on top of that, especially if you're gonna freeze these eggs, because that borax will hold in the moisture and it won't allow those big crystals of ice and of course that freezer burn to start all over those eggs. So same thing, I'm gonna roll those bad boys up and those things are ready to catch a steelhead. So there you have it, everybody. 2 different methods that are very, very effective that you do not want to forget when going out and getting a chance to cure your own eggs. If you guys want to see more videos just like this one that'll teach you more about fishing, go up here and click this link to this next how-to video that we do. Go down here, hit subscribe, turn that little bell notification on, and drop a comment below with some videos that you want to see. Interact with this video and you could be the comment of the day just like this one right here. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Stay fishy and we'll see you out there.